The Star Wars universe is constantly expanding.
But how the heck are you going to keep tabs on it without a holocron? And where in the rim can I score the juiciest news and rumors?
Ah, you seek State of the Empire, Consequence of Sound's Star Wars speculation podcast, where we look for news in all the wrong places.
We dig into the Sarlacc pit of the internet for the hottest intel in the galaxy far, far away. Make Indiana Jones inquiries and keep watch for the latest on Willow.
Find us on consequenceofsound.net or wherever you procure fine podcasts. It's the show you're looking for. Consequence Podcast Network.
Welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith with an audio interview series presented by WFPK Independent Louisville, Consequence of Sound, and the Consequence Podcast Network. Wherever you're listening from today, hit that subscribe button right now, then leave a review and a rating as well. I'm Kyle Meredith. Today, my guest, you know him as Mondo Cozmo, Joshua Ostrander. Mondo Cozmo just released a brand new EP, sort of a surprise EP called Your Motherfucker, and we get to talk about that really nice title and the sounds within the collection. There's also some talk about Butch Vig, and probably my favorite part of this interview, he tells me the story of being able to testify in Congress completely hungover after a night of heavy drinking, and even trying to steal a spoon from the Kennedy room. It's Kyle Meredith with Mondo Cozmo.
Hey, Kyle, it's Mondo Cozmo.
How you doing, man?
I've been good. Just been busy. We just finished the Vance Shoei tour, and now I'm home. I'm just writing, man, every day. It's been great.
I'll kind of use that as the intro here because, surprise, surprise, there's new music from Mondo Cozmo with Your Motherfucker EP. And it's a lot of fun, and the songs are so good.
Oh, God, thanks, man. That means a lot. Yeah, it was like we just got to the point where it's like, I just want to put music out, so let's do this, you know what I mean? And then the idea to call it Your Motherfucker has been equally awesome and just a huge pain in the butt.
You know, I'll get to that.
I love this song, and I love the idea of it. And it's, it's just like a love song, and it just happens to say that word 40 times in it.
Yeah, you know what? I've got the question. It's a love song, right? I actually have that written here because you listen to it and you're like, this is sweet.
I mean, yeah, if you like dig into the lyrics, you're like, it's actually just like it's just the idea of being somebody's everything. You know what I mean? And I was just like, the song just came to me. I was on a run, and I had the first two lines. I was watching this documentary on Elvis that Showtime did, which is really good. And I was like, man, like just the idea of being everything to somebody and to be somebody's motherfucker. To have somebody, if someone were to tell me I'm your motherfucker, I just think that would be such a cool thing. So I did it real quick, didn't think about it, sent it to like my manager. I was like, I like this. He's like, yeah. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, well, what can we do with this? I'm like, I don't know, man, but I love it, so we're gonna put it out.
Yeah, it sort of reminded me. Do you remember Battle Flag from Propeller Heads?
Yeah, totally. It's also got that like primal scream bass line that I love. It's got almost like, I don't know, there's so many elements in that too where I'm just like, I don't know what this is. I just love it. And I still, like, I'll go on my run and I'll just like, it'll be in my mix, like my running mix. And I just like, it gets me going, man. I just love it. I'm so glad you like it.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
You don't mind listening to yourself when you're running.
No, I don't. I'm my biggest critique, so I'm always just like, I put my time in with like my lyrics and stuff to make sure, you know what I mean? Like, and also I want to see what it sounds like with other music, It's like there's so much great music coming out, and I want to see how it holds up,
Well, while we're on the subject of the songs, I want to jump back to another song on the EP because Hey Stephen is a beautiful song, but there's a bit of a chuckle there because you do say something about an English accent.
Yeah, and then I try to sing the English accent. I don't know how that goes over, but I always had this idea. I'm like, what if I had that line forever, wanted to put that in, like, in my finest English accent, I will beg you not to leave. But to sing it in an English accent, I just thought would be hilarious. And, yeah. I love that tune, too. I'm glad you like it, Carl. Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem. Well, it made me go back and think. It's like, wait a second. Has he always had an English accent? Because it was a nice, like, sleight of hand right there, I guess. That was a nice trick.
That's so cool you picked up on that. That's great. I love that.
what is such a strong little EP. But I got like, when did you have time to write these? Because you've been nonstop since everything started. What, a year and a half ago, I guess it's probably around these. I mean, were these road songs? Were these written while you were out there on tour?
No, not at all. Hey, Steven, we've had like up our sleeve for a little bit. That one we did have. But honestly, these tunes were just done really, really quickly. I went in with this producer named John Hill who did like Feel It Still. He's one of my favorite producers. He used to do like old Santa Gold records and stuff. I'm just a huge fan of him. And we went in and we did like 4 days of just like writing and making music. And that's how Tonight came from. It was just a 2-minute, we wanted to write like a Violent Femmes song, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And we wrote this like 2-minute song and we were just like, all right, next, moving on. And then I recorded Sold on my iPad on a flight. I swear to God. I just loved it. I was just like, this is beautiful. I like the lyrics, like some of my favorite lyrics on that song. And I don't know. I just had like these 4 tunes. I was just like, oh, let's get them out. Cause I'm learning that like nowadays artists have to keep putting music out to stay relevant, cause there's just so much going on. And I like that. Like, as much as I want to go in, and I'm going in to do like a full length record. Like the idea of just like constantly getting music out is exciting, man. And it's like a great time to be writing music. And it's an important time to be writing music, I think.
As a fan, I'm completely enjoying this. I mean, just to get these nice surprises, and it's more than just even a single, because to have something that's realized. I mean, you have such a gift for melody. It sort of blows my mind, because I don't know, something flipped. And of course, the first time that we did the official interview with Mondo Cozmo, concept and everything, that was sort of like such a more real, I don't know if that's right, because I was such a big fan of your previous band, which we've talked about before with ECC and everything.
Yeah.
But there's something completely different with what happened when you became Mondo Cozmo. Your style of writing just went to another planet, another atmosphere. And I don't know if you can attribute that to anything, or if it just, that was your growth or what, but it's sort of like, like when Father John Misty, when you got Josh Tillman, he had been doing his acoustic stuff for years too. And then one day he takes some drugs and walks out of the desert, and suddenly he's, a gifted songwriter beyond anything he's ever done. And I'm like, what did you do? What did you do that day? That turns into this now, that you can just toss off 2 minutes, or plus into a song like Tonight, and it's one of the catchiest songs of the years.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Thank you for that. Yeah, I think my drug was working landscape for 2 years. It was. I think it was just that to me. And whenever I work with anybody, I'm just like, I don't care what's going on in the song. All I care about is the vocal melody, because that's just the music I listen to. That's what I get off on. You know what I mean? So I don't. That's just like, when I go into a song, I'm only going to put out stuff that I think melodically really resonates. And that means so much that you said that, because I really, really work on that, and that means a lot.
How much, or if any, how much does having a band now have an impact on the way you write?
That is a great question, because like we just did, last year we did 10 months straight. We did like 150 shows. And that was our first 10 months of being a band, you know what I mean? So, and it became like, as much as the recordings are one thing, the live show became another thing too. And it was like, wow, like suddenly we're playing in front of 90,000 people in Quebec, opening up for Muse. And you're like, holy moly, like it's go time. You know what I mean? Right. It's like, we can either just go up there and do okay and get through this, or we can just go up there and attack it and just punch everybody in the face and just own the moment that we have. And honestly, man, like this rock and roll band is a true band. And it's just like, we really, every show, whether there's 8 people or 90,000 people, like we put on a show. And it's like, to go in with that mindset of writing songs, it's like, yes, like it's an important thing to like address. Be like, all right, like I want to put on a show. Like, what's like the song first, but also like how can we deliver this in a way that's gonna like just make somebody's Friday night? You know what I mean?
I love the results of that. I heard you talking about. You mentioned, you're just writing and already looking towards the future. There's a picture though you posted online, and I think you're sitting with Butch Vig. And does he have anything to do with your future? Because that's fucking cool.
All I could say is that Butch and I are very much talking a lot.
Talking
And
a lot.
he's become like such an awesome. He'll just email me, and we just talk about songs, and it's like, man, and it's like I try not to like geek out too much because like. I mean, Siamese dream, bro. You know what I mean? Like, never mind.
Right.
Like the dude is just like an institution into how like every band when they go in with Butch Vig makes their best record. You know what I mean? That in my opinion. And I'm very aware that Butch Vig, when that email shows up, it's like, dang, dude. Okay, here we go. You're officially running with the big boys. Do not mess this up, dude. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I would just say I would be very excited.
I'd be very excited.
Right.
You know, I mean, I've spent a lot of this year, you know, it's Garbage's 20th anniversary of version 2.0. And so it's sort of how I started even my year, is just like diving into that. And yeah, I mean, everything he touches. I agree. Just amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, man.
And he's just like, he's just the most down to earth dude. Like, you wouldn't know it when you're sitting there just like talking about music, and like you turn your head and you're like, oh crap, there's a bunch of Grammys over there. You know what I mean? It's like, oh wow, like it's an impressive thing.
Yeah, you're both Midwestern guys too. I mean, you kind of forget, but Butch Vig is from what, Wisconsin, right? Or Milwaukee, or something like Milwaukee.
Like it's all like Green Bay paraphernalia when you go in there with the football. So we had a lot to overcome. So I'm an Eagles fan, but we got through it.
Let me ask you about something else. The Music Modernization Act. You've become sort of a spokesperson a little bit for that as well?
Oh, yeah, Kyle. This was funny because the Grammys called and they were like, hey, we want you to go talk to Congress about this new legislation that would help artists, you know, royalty rates and stuff like that, which are just like really bad. They're really bad. And I was like, nah, I don't think I should do that. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I didn't graduate high school, and I'm pretty sure there's way smarter people to do this. And that's what we told them. We're like, no, probably so honored, but no, we should not. There's got to be somebody better. And they immediately called back, and they're like, yeah, you're going. And we're like, okay. So, dude, I swear to God, they sent me and my dummy manager to Washington, D.C. We stayed at the hotel across the street from the White House. It was just nuts. And then, like, suddenly the next morning, that night, my manager and I go out and just get, like senator drunk. You know what I mean? Like, we went out because it was just like, what is happening? And we just went out and we had such a night. And we didn't even think, like, we just kept going because we were so excited. And then before you know it, it's like 6 a.m. and somebody's banging on the door. Like, we have to go to this meeting, you know, like, with suits on and meet. And then, like, at noon, we went to Congress, and I had to speak to, like, members of Congress. And then we went to the Capitol, and I had to talk to senators. And, Kyle, it was just the craziest thing. And I'm sitting there, and the whole time I'm just like, what am I doing here? And as I'm like telling them my story of being like, actually, like I've been doing this for 15 years, you know what I mean? And like, I was always working another job and like always like working 2 jobs, you know, just to be able to like, and I told him, I'm like, and it became a hobby, and it broke my heart because it shouldn't have been a hobby. It should be something like that people can support themselves and do. And like, I'm like, if you don't change these laws, that you're missing out on future Springsteens and future Dylans, like, because it's so hard for music, for people to get by doing music, and it's just not right. And as I'm telling them this story, I was like, wow, maybe I was the right person to send here, you know? And it was just, I'll never forget it.
I mean, you're such a great speaker, and I always feel you're always coming from the heart when you do it, so I can completely see where they're coming from on that one. What an amazing moment to be a part of. I mean, has there been any movement since you went up there and talked?
Oh, yeah. Like 10 days later, they passed it unanimously, like 413-0. Wow. So there's just one more step that has to go through, and then, you know, Taylor Swift's going to get a lot more money.
Well, that's exactly what all this was about. That's
why I went. Kyle.
It's not so much future Dylans and Springsteens, it's present Taylors. That's But seriously, how awesome is that? And I don't want to brush over, by the way, that, you know, one of the coolest, most important moments maybe of your career, and you went all punk rock and just got totally tore up the night before.
Dude,
I mean, were you hungover for this?
Yeah. Oh my God. Like, we had to go get like Pedialyte. It was like one of those mornings. We're like walking to CVS. Him and I both have our suits on, and we're just like, "Oh my God, what did we do? What did we do?" And I mean, by the grace of something, like we got through it, and we did really good. So it was funny. Oh, but when we were there, we had lunch in the Kennedy room, and it was just like, oh my gosh. And Kyle, they had this little spoon, like it was all like china and stuff, you know. It was like a really proper lunch, and they had this little spoon for, I guess it was like sugar. I don't know what it was for. And all I could think about the whole time was like how bad I wanted to steal this spoon, so that for the rest of my life I could like put my sugar in my coffee in the morning and be like, that was from the Kennedy room. You know what I mean? I'm texting my wife. I'm like, babe, I really think I need to steal this spoon. And she's like, for the love of God, please don't. You know, because it's like Secret Service. You know, it's like
Right.
It could have been
He's got a
nothing,
weapon.
or it could have been the most. Yeah. Swarm. Oh man. So I didn't steal it, but I wish I did.
Yeah, but
Would've been
somewhere that spoon's still there, just thinking about you as well. Thinking about that. Could have had a new home. Dude, that's so
great.
cool. I know this, last year and a half or so has been so exciting. It's been for you. It's been so exciting for us to watch and kind of, vicariously live through it as well. And, to have these caliber of songs with, I'll point out again, the Your Motherfucker EP, which is fun that I can say it in the interviews, not so much on the air, but, right here, it's completely fine.
I know. Everybody, I'm getting so many messages like, can they play it? I'm like, no, they can't play it on the radio. We're working on a radio edit. It's actually pretty good. So I'm hoping maybe something will come from that. But yeah, it's we really made a decision with that one.
Yeah, I love the single as well, but I'll take all four of them, and I can't wait until the next group comes around in whatever state, EP, album, whatever. I can't wait, man.
Awesome. Thank you, Kyle. You're the best, man. Always appreciate the support you guys have given us. It's awesome.
All the time, anytime. It was a pleasure talking to you again. We will see you around, man.
Awesome. Thank you, Kyle.
All right, take care. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks to Mondo Cozmo for that call right there. The brand new EP is called Your Motherfucker. Hey, YouTubers, go ahead and hit the subscribe button right now to keep up with your favorite artists and interviews. For you podcast fans, iTunes, Podchaser, or wherever you're getting this from, hit the subscribe button there as well, and then leave us a review and give a rating. And then head over to WFPK.org. That's where I do a show every Monday through Thursday from noon to 3 Eastern. You can also hear some bonus episodes of this series over there. I'm Kyle Meredith. I'll see you next time.
Consequence Podcast Network.